Well, good morning, everybody. It is great to see all of you. This is one of my favorite events of the year. I love PharmaMES. I've been coming here and speaking here for the last 5 years, and every year, not only does it get bigger, but it's great to see customers, partners, friends, and new friends, because every year we learn something new, we meet someone new, and so I absolutely love this event. And for that reason, we also use this event as our opportunity to highlight and announce all of our new product updates. And this year is no different, because if you remember our presentation from last year, we launched the first generative AI capabilities native in MES. But in just 1 year, we then launched our Agentic AI capabilities at PharmaMES USA. And now fast forward just a few months later, and we're going to be launching what we believe is the next evolution of not just Agentic AI systems in life science manufacturing, but the next evolution of Agentic AI systems, broadly speaking. Because not only can these agents take action, but for the first time, they can predict and intervene. And so you'll see it as we get into this today, but if you're not familiar with us, we've been around for over 10 years now. Last year was our 10-year anniversary. We have a number of customers throughout the space, and we have 2 of our customers speaking at the event. We have CureVac, who's going to be speaking today, I believe, at around noon, and we have Elevate Bio speaking tomorrow afternoon as well. And so if you are interested in hearing their feedback and how it's been like to use Apprentice, please do check out those presentations throughout the event. But like I mentioned, we've been launching a lot of our capabilities here at the show, whether it's in Europe or the United States. And the best way to think about the evolution of these systems is, I'm sure you're all very familiar with paper and legacy systems, but our big differentiation is, number one, we created a very modern manufacturing system, modern MES, no code, cloud, mobile native. That's been in production for a very long time now. And so as you're thinking about potentially your cloud journey, these are systems that have been deployed for quite a while. And so you're not the first, you're not the second, you're not the 20th. You know, this is a space in which the maturity of these underlying systems has really expanded. But over the last couple of years, we start to see a focus on next-gen MES capabilities. This is everything from high-speed new product introduction. So how quickly can you software define a product, introduce it to the shop floor, deploy it, and scale it out across your entire network. We launched here our connected manufacturing network a couple of years ago. And last year, we launched what we called generative AI at the time, which we've now renamed to conversational, because after that, in just March of this year, we launched our Agentic AI capabilities, which you'll see today. And now we're going to be launching our Predictive AI capabilities. This is the next evolution of agentic systems. And if you are familiar with the plant maturity model, not only does this help us get to a predictive plant, this moves us, as you'll see, into the beginnings of a fully autonomous plant. And so got a lot of fun stuff in store for today. But for the purposes of today, we're going to be focusing a lot on the AI capabilities. And so we're not going to be talking a lot about the core MES capabilities, because I firmly believe that we are at a maturity place to say confidently that MES Lite is dead. And if you don't believe me, come challenge me tomorrow at the World Cafe session, because for those of you that are familiar with this term that's been used the last couple of years within the industry, it was used as a stopgap between legacy systems that have been around for a long time, had a lot of features and a lot of credibility, and then the new entrants like us that didn't have necessarily the features or the credibility at the time. It's 5 years later now. It's a half a decade later. These systems have not only hit the same amount of legacy features, but exceeded. We have not only deployed a few times, but we've deployed throughout the entire space. So please do come challenge me tomorrow. And so if you do have thoughts on what this all means, cannot wait to connect with you at the World Cafe session, because MES Lite is not about less features. It's about a system that is fully feature-rich, just 10x less the TCO, 10x less the deployment time, and a whole lot less resources. So come check it out tomorrow. But the whole rest of the presentation now, we're going to be focusing on AI, one of my favorite topics. And we'll start with something that you're familiar with. You might have seen this last year, but it's conversational AI. We've renamed generative to conversational because you get to talk to it. And so in this case, on the shop floor, if operators have a question about their process, if they want to ask what happened in the shift prior, if they want to know what data, exceptions, or steps are coming up, you can talk to it, and it'll talk back to you as full context awareness on your manufacturing process, natively embedded in the application. But we're just warming up. So we just built what we call now voice-enabled AI, and I don't know if the sound's coming through, but it's okay. You can come by the booth to check this out.
Dry ingredient.
Okay, perfect.
Let's use coffee grounds.
Are you sure you want to save value coffee grounds for process action dry ingredient?
Yes, please, save it.
The value coffee grounds has been successfully saved for the process action dry ingredient.
So this is getting to be really interesting. So not only can you text and type with your AI in MES, but you can talk to it with natural language. This is a preview and a hint of what's going to come next year that we're building towards. But we want to share the basis of what's starting today, where you can talk to your device today. The AI has full awareness of what's going on in the steps, can capture data, interact with you, answer questions, and go on from there. But this is, again, just the beginning of conversational AI. But now we move into what we launched at PharmaMES USA just about a half a year ago now. It's Agentic AI. And the best way to think about this is that conversational, it makes sense. You talk to it, you question and answer. You ask a question, you get an answer back. Agentic AI takes action. And so now you'll see the AI moving from just asking a question, getting an answer, to the AI actually performing an action on your behalf. So the first one, this is something the industry struggles with constantly, which is how long does it take to author a recipe? How long does it take, we heard in the last presentation, to make changes to recipes, to be able to go from paper to digital? So in this case, we're uploading a paper batch record that already exists. It's uploading it now, and what the AI agent is doing is it's extracting all the content from that paper record, generating a digital version of that procedure, and there's two different agents. There's a authoring agent and a supervisory agent, meaning there are two different AI agents conflicting with each other, where actually, if you just saw it there, it sent it back because it tested, it simulated the run, and it didn't like it. It was like, no, not good enough, go back. And so once you upload your PDF, you're then able to not only have a fully digital record, but if you can see those little green boxes there, the AI made recommendations. So not only can the AI convert from paper to digital, but the AI can actually make recommendations on how to improve your process. Because at this stage now, the AI is getting to the point where it can see your records, it can understand what's going on, and you can then not only ask the AI to be able to make changes, but you can direct the AI, ask for recommendations, and use this as a tool to be able to not just digitize, which is step one, but to start to optimize, quality by design. And you'll see that QBD concept come back here momentarily. But now let's do something a little more involved. So this is what we call our process agent. So we went from, in the last video, authoring and designing your recipe, to now starting to execute, and execute autonomously. So on the left-hand side, you see here, this is actually native in our system. It's our augmented reality tool to be able to have real-time two-way audio, two-way video. But on the right-hand side is that little blue bubble that you see there. That's the AI agent. The orange one at the top is Shane, our teammate here. And so now you have a human and the AI working together and executing the same process. And so what's happening in this case is the AI is looking at the dissolved oxygen coming off the reactor. It made a decision to turn on the agitator. And that decision then turns on the agitator, and then the AI will then monitor the DO as it's climbing, as the agitator is on, and then also then turn off the agitator when it's done. What's so interesting about this, though, is that the AI is able to execute processes autonomously, make decisions, but also collaborate with the human. because the human and the AI are in the same system together, executing at the same time together. And so you can now start to automate so much more of your process beyond just having rule-based automation systems, task-based human systems. This is a combination of both human and task in a single system, all with what we call our process agent. But now this is going to be the beginning of what's coming next, which you'll see. Because when we launched this back in March, the number one piece of feedback that we got, the area that people were most excited about, was our quality agent. Because exceptions and the review of said exceptions is a lot of work. And it's something that directly inhibits batch release. And so we built what we call our quality agent, where this quality agent will automatically review exceptions, group those exceptions, and make recommendations on which exceptions to clear out and close out, or to look at, thus enabling review by exception to a new level. And now, these two terms, quality by design, review by exception, you'll see this come back because this was the number one area of feedback we got from our customers when we launched our quality agent just about 6 months ago. And then the last thing that we'll show on the agentic AI side before we move into our new predictive AI capabilities is a continuous improvement agent. Because it's one thing to be able to design your process the first time, deploy it digitally, but we've been using Lean now as an industry for 20 plus years, but it's always been a real challenge to constantly adapt and evolve recipes. So our continuous improvement agent will automatically review prior runs. It will identify areas of anomalies in the process, and then it will automatically make recommendations on how to change your process going forward. So it is doing effectively an autonomous Lean cycle where it is reviewing the runs of the past, looking for issues that came up, and then automatically flagging and making a recommendation. Now, do we believe that this is going to just run autonomously on its own? No. But we do see that this is a way to open up a conversation such that internally you say, why is the AI picking this up? Why is the AI recommending this? To get into a continuous improvement cycle. All right, so that was conversational AI, that was agentic AI, and now the next phase of all of this, which is predictive AI. And so this is a bit of a bold claim, the end of exceptions, but it sets a North Star for the objective we have, which is why are we even developing these AI tools? Why do they exist? Because our goal is to end exceptions. That is the goal. And so if you look at how the industry has evolved, I mentioned earlier quality by design, review by exception. These are two terms we're very, very familiar with. But what we've seen over time is as you start to implement and go from paper to digital systems, to implementing QDB principles, to then be able to leverage review by exception capabilities, yes, is there a decrease in errors overall? Absolutely. Yes, does the effort go down as well? Absolutely. But it's not gone. And so what we've seen is when you start to then implement AI systems, AI native systems, and you either have the AI author the recipe faster, have the AI do quality review cycles, and have the AI start to optimize recipes, yes, you do start to see a decrease in overall exceptions, operator errors, batch record review effort, but it's still not at zero. It's still not at zero. You're still having to do a lot of manual effort as you're reviewing these procedures, as you're going through your process. It's still a lot of work. And so what we did is we looked at all of our data. This is our data from our entire global install base. And what we see is that exceptions are still pervasive even with agentic AI systems. Exceptions still exist. For better or for worse, they're still there. And what we did was we grouped all of those exceptions that we in the process, and we started to model it out. We said, where do these exceptions happen? Why do they happen? Who is creating them? Who is causing them? Because not only is an issue in and of itself having exceptions, it's not a good quality process if they exist, but the review time, even in a digital system, is still really long, up to 2 weeks. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to have exceptions go 2+ weeks before you review and release your batch, even with what we like to think, one of the most advanced digital and agentic AI systems out there. We still see long review time for exceptions. And so we looked at the data, and what we found was that there is a power law lurking in the data, basically a fancy way of saying there's a small group of exception types that can lead to a really big outcome if we went after them. Because if we could prevent simple things like overrides and observations and step sequentiality, things like this, we would eliminate 75% of the exceptions that happen in a digital system. That's a lot. And so when we took a look at this, we said, hey, how can we go about taking these exceptions and getting rid of them? And so we started to then think about how do you evolve quality by design, review by exception, and we decided to introduce a new concept that we hope that many of you will take from this conference and use it in your day-to-day life, because quality by design is before the process, review by exception is after the process, and so we're introducing a new term called quality by predictive intervention, QPI. Now, it may sound like a mouthful, but when you see what the software can now do, this will all make sense. Because the predictive intervention is really important. Not only are we making predictions, but we're intervening on behalf of the operator. We're making predictions, and we're intervening on behalf of the operator. Because when you stack these things side by side, yes, QBD gives you proactive design, but it's before the process. RB happens after the process. QPI is real-time, proactive intervention during the process. That's the real difference here, that we would like to shift the industry towards this real-time predictive intervention. Because our hope with this, and this is not proven yet, our hope is that when you have predictive agents that take action, we then will drop operator error, we'll drop review time, and we'll move the industry towards a predictive and autonomous plant, because these systems are now taking action on their behalf. So now let's go see it. So the first thing that we had to do is we actually had to go and build out a new edge device. Definitely stop by the booth. We have a whole line. There's 3 different types of edge devices. But I bring it up because it's less about the edge device itself, and it's more about being able to combine time series data with run data. Because if you can bring them together, the AI has full context awareness. That is the most important thing of this whole thing. So we got into hardware for the first time, because in order for us to actually do what we want to do with predictive AI, we had to create an edge device to get to the equipment to have real-time time series data combined with contextual run data. Because then what we do is we run 50 simultaneous runs and simulations of prior runs in the data to be able to then identify areas of when exceptions occur, why they occur, what types of exceptions they are, and you can then configure it so that you can then proactively intervene on behalf of the operator. And now we'll see what that looks like. Because when you can have the time series data, but you can have the contextual run data, when you're running 50+ simulations of prior run data, when you're executing now and you have an operator, it's just they're going through their process. The operator is going through their day-to-day, no big deal. But there's a point in which they get to a stage in the process in which the AI then says, hey, wait a second, we've been seeing a trend. And I know you can't read this, but the AI will automatically send a message to the operator, to the human operator, letting them know that we've seen in the past couple of runs issues with the step that's coming up. So the AI will proactively intervene to automatically send a message to the operator in a very friendly way. It's not saying, Bob, don't do this, Bob. It's saying, Bob, good morning, Bob. Take a look at this, Bob. But the point is, the AI now is omnipresent. It's always there. And so it's constantly monitoring the process such that when it starts to see an issue before it happens, it will proactively message the operator, letting them know to look out for what's to come and give a recommendation on what to do. So this is communication. So it's proactive, predictive intervention with communication. The AI talks to you proactively. But now the AI can also then make recommendations proactively. And again, this is not something that you have to create during your design process. Let me say that again. You do not have to build this into your design process. The AI is always there. It's looking for known issues, and it will proactively, without you having to design it, make recommendations. In this case, again, we have the operator going through the process, capturing some data, nothing crazy here. But when it gets to the next step in this, the AI will now make a suggestion to the operator. This is a simple suggestion right now, but you can imagine where this is going to go. Because now the operator not only will receive a textual instruction saying, hey, Bob, take a look at this, they'll also receive a recommendation. Hey, Bob, maybe you should consider doing this to avoid an exception before it happens. But then what happens if Bob's distracted? And I keep using Bob, but we see Bob always throughout these plants. What happens if Bob's distracted? What happens if Bob is talking to his friend, or he's thinking about a football match? What happens when he's supposed to take an action, but he didn't? The predictive agent now will actually step in on the behalf of the operator and execute, and you see the little sparkle, little AI agent, get it? It will actually intervene then on behalf of the operator. So if the operator was supposed to do something, if the operator was supposed to take action and they didn't, the AI will step in and do it on their behalf. And this is the big shift. This is the beginning of a way more advanced system. Today, we have some initial capabilities that in and of themselves I do think are quite unique. But you can see where this is going to go. Because once the AI now is able to take action, have full context awareness, can predict, can intervene, this is where now we see this big shift of these systems moving to, not just in the future, but right now. And so with that, our call to action here is let's build that future together. We have a beta program going on right now, not only with our customers, because in our current release, 7.7, which will be out in, where's my team? Less than a week? What do you guys think? Yeah, okay, yeah, about a week. All of our agentic AI capability will be generally available and in GMP. Yes, the agentic AI capability you saw first will be validated in GMP. And so the predictive AI capabilities are now in beta. We'll be working with our customers to refine it over the coming months. But if you are interested in this, please do stop by the booth. We want to build the future together. And so our challenge to all of you is that while you're at the show, please do use AI. We have a free trial. Yes, free trial. You can just log into our website, check out the AI yourself. Not all of the new predictive stuff, that's in a closed beta right now. Same thing with the Agentic. But if you do want to try some of the AI capabilities, log in, sign up. It's totally free. And you get the added benefit of getting to use the whole system, the core platform, not just all of the AI capability. And so I'm happy to take questions. Like I said, I absolutely love this event. I learned from all of you. Hopefully you learned something new here in all of this too. But just a quick shout out to CureVac, who will be presenting later today. Today at noon, so please do stop by that presentation. I'm going to be at the World Cafe session, again, to come challenge me on why I think MES Lite is dead. And then lastly, we have Elevate Bio, our other customer, tomorrow afternoon. And so big thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoy the whole rest of the show. I know I will, and so have a great one. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelo.